Great. Hey, everybody. Scott Silverian here, Director of Industry Relations with Sierra Interactive. I have a really special guest with me today that I'm excited to talk to, Aimee Peterson, who's a great agent and team lead out of Charleston, South Carolina, who's a relatively new client with Sierra. So we're going to get a different perspective here today, which I'm excited to find out more about. But Aimee, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background in the industry, and what your business looks like today?
Sure. So Scott, we started out, my husband and I started running a team. That was back in 2018. We got to about 7 to 10 agents. We were using already a CRM platform that we didn't have through our brokerage. We used CINC back then.
Yeah.
Um, and so, funny enough, we're talking on February 12th. We signed on Valentine's Day. This is how much my husband and I love each other that we signed up for a CRM on that. We went to a class on Valentine's Day. That was my
Oh my
present
gosh.
that day. So we did that. After 3 years, we created a brokerage. And so we were a boutique brokerage from 2 years after being a team. We grew to around 40 agents. And at that time, we went franchise. So we're part of Better Homes and Gardens now.
Okay.
So I'm the owner broker of 100 agents here in Charleston, South Carolina region, over 4 offices. And our platform in the last 4 months have just been Sierra Interactive. We were CINC CRM up until then.
Wow. Okay. So you were on Sync for we talked about this a couple of years, right? Like tell me about your experience there and what brought you over to Sierra?
Yeah. So we were CINC 2018 up until 2025.
Okay.
We did have 1 year of a break off. We went to Boomtown at that time. I don't know what are they called now, but I think Bold something. But back in the, they're based out of Charleston, and
Yep.
everybody wanted the coveted to be part of that CRM. So we broke away for a year. It was very similar to CINC, and we're like, no, we don't like this learning curve. We went back.
Okay.
Um, so we've always been pay per click, putting in investment, but we've never ran like I think a lot of teams structure run after we became a brokerage and stuff like that. It was a lot more to manage, but we kept the CRM, we kept paying for the lead spin for agents to work on it.
Okay.
What ended up coming down to it is I would sit on Zoom calls and they would talk about how the development of CINC would have more agent branded sites, that the website would have an overhaul and look more modern. And I sat through those classes in 2022 and 2023 and came 2025 and things still hadn't changed. And so
Okay.
our website was the same it was from day one. It wasn't something I could add blogs to or make more attractive, or there was no SEO behind
Wow.
it.
Okay.
We didn't generate leads because someone, you know, Googled our company, or,
Okay.
started Googling top real estate agent, and we weren't populating.
Okay.
So it just didn't look great. And so
Okay.
that really came down to, it was the front side, the look of it is what made us started looking. And when we would type into ChatGPT, top real estate agents in Charleston, and the ones that kept populating, they were all in Sierra Interactive sites. So,
Okay.
and we weren't populating. So there was a lot of signs that just kind of pushed it to us. The CRM side, it was just like any other CRM, but there wasn't, the automations were again not changing with the times as well.
Okay. Okay.
So we do use Blue Door here, and I have seen so much more interaction with our potential clients and leads, because of the automations from putting that in. And we didn't have anything
Sure.
like that on that end.
Sure.
So it was a large financially. It's almost the same of what we were paying there, so it wasn't a dramatic difference.
Okay.
But it was just the bells and whistles over here were a lot better than what we were getting there.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're definitely glad to have you. So fortunately, we came up in that AI search for you, and
We did.
and you joined us. Tell me, you're running a brokerage now. I mean, that's a lot of agents, 100 agents. Are you actually providing leads for these agents, and are all of them in your Sierra platform?
So we have 55 in our Sierra platform.
Okay.
We do require that they have to take 2 classes. When we would onboard agents into CINC, it was more of, it's turned on, here we go, here's a video. But we have found that getting agents into the Sierra Interactive site has been a lot more training, but in a positive way, because we're
Okay.
teaching them how to use the front end of the site to share the blogs on their social media to generate their own leads and stuff like that, where we weren't training in front of a website when it came to CINC. So the training is a lot more in depth. So that's why we don't have all of our agents in there, because they have to attend some in-person
Awesome.
classes that we didn't require before. But our agents who've attended, they're generating their own leads outside of pay-per-click. And so again, that's why we have really seen an impact of where an agent may have a new listing and they're posting that new listing link into Facebook groups, and people are coming
Mhm.
in because they like the look of it, they like the use of it. And we've gotten compliments from our leads on our website, which is the
Really?
weirdest thing ever when they'll get like the text message. For me, I feel it's weird that they'll get a text message going, "Hey, it's Aimee. I'm just checking in. How are you, are you navigating the site okay?" And we've had leads respond that said, no questions. It's been easy to use. I like your website. And
Amazing.
they might not have been to the point of conversion yet, but we weren't definitely getting those kind of conversations with
That's great.
leads before. So that has been something our agents have really enjoyed.
That's great. And I love that idea of requiring them to go, like almost qualifying them
Yep.
before they're in Sierra, because we have so many team leaders and brokers like yourself that, I mean, getting agents, I've been an agent for a long time, getting agents to log into the CRM is a big deal, to actually use the CRM is a big deal. And they're always asking us, like, how do we get better buy-in from our agents? So that's a great idea. I really love that. Do you have ongoing training that they can go to as well? Like what happens after they're able to log in, after they're able to get access to Sierra?
Yeah, we do offer every Thursday. We have what we call Thriving Thursday here, and it's on a lot of our programs
Okay.
that we offer. But in these last few months, it's pretty much been taken over by talking about how do we best use Sierra Interactive, because we, on our front of our site, we've even added um, where a potential person on our site can download buyer's guides
Hmm.
or new construction guides and how to use those to post on social media. So after they're trained up, then they go to those type of classes. So that's what we do weekly, but we offer what we call our Sierra Interactive 101 and
Yeah,
102. We offer that once a month.
that's great. That's great. And are you guys taking advantage of our agent subdomains, our agent sites?
Yes. So
Okay,
every single one of our agents has their own subdomain to the site,
great.
and a lot of them we have figured out some of that customization that they can make, and they're enjoying the HTML opportunities that they weren't getting before. Because
Awesome.
where we came from before, they had a little itty bitty icon in the top left corner of their picture, and that's all it was. There was
Yeah.
nothing that kind of highlighted them. So they're loving having a full bio and picture, and they could build out more of that. So they've been working a lot on that lately.
Wow. This is like you're like a great case study because it's not only the system's not only supporting the brokerage, but getting buy-in from the agents and supporting them in their own individual businesses. And for them to be able to see that is exactly what we're looking for, right? Like exactly what we want to provide with you for you guys. So
I'll give you another one. So we do, as the brokerage, we have teams under us who use our Sierra Interactive as well. Same thing as we did a CINC. So they do their own lead spend. And we haven't even, so we are, let's see, it's April. We came in October, and we took one full month of building out the site. We really
okay,
invested on the front end
okay,
before we even got our agents in there. But our teams now have not started lead spend yet, because of when we hauled over 50,000 leads when this happened.
okay,
Not all of them were mine. Some were some of our agents, our teams. And when we brought them in and set them up on the automations with Blue Door and putting them on the email drip campaign or the market insight, which is one of my favorites that we set up,
okay.
they have not had to do pay per click yet, because their old leads that they've had for a very long time
Hmm.
are like coming back alive. So they are getting their money's worth from their old leads.
Amazing.
And so we've already converted and already gotten under contract in these last 4 months is more than we would do a whole year where we were before.
Wow.
So we're across the board. It's not just me, it's our team leads under us who
Yeah.
are seeing an impact of their leads coming back to life.
That is amazing, amazing
Mhm.
results. And just to clarify, as people are watching this, when she's referencing Blue Door is actually one of our partners, where they basically plug a system, a marketing system, right into Sierra that includes email and text plans, automations on the back end. So think if somebody looks at a property 3 times, Bluedoor is going to highlight that lead so the agents know to call that lead. So it's basically a plug and play system that fits on top of Sierra that, like Aimee was saying, a lot of times, especially when you're just bringing leads in, will start reigniting conversations with dormant leads that you've had for years. So that's a perfect example of the systems really working together well. So
Oh, 100%. I
yeah,
probably we would still love the front end of the site and learning the CRM, but that plugin has taken off so much work and effort.
yeah,
And I do know there you all offer to help build out the website and all that. We did not
hmm
go in that direction. I decided
hmm
I wanted to learn all of it. Hindsight, I would have probably hired someone to help me build. Um, but I am grateful for what I do know on the front end. Of it because there's just so much. I mean, it
yeah.
really is. It isn't just a turn on a website, which I know you have a great website that you can just turn on, but it gives you the opportunity to do so much more.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm sure as you go along, you'll continue to learn more because
Mhm.
there's a lot of hidden gems in there that you can't really get to until you sort of have that base layer down. So
I would have never told you, Scott, 4 months ago. Well, I couldn't have told you 4 months ago what schema was or all these things. I get into these groups going, okay, what is this? Now let me learn this. But my
yeah,
favorite thing is to go to Google Console, Search Console now, and see how many clicks we're getting, how many
that's
views we're
so
getting and
cool.
impressions, because we were getting like nothing before. So it's like a daily kind of, oh, where we're going. And I know it's a little bit of ramp up time. And
Yeah.
I could see that over these last 4 months of how it keeps growing, but it isn't growing a little bit. Like every month, it's almost tripling the views and impressions we've
Wow.
had the month before because now it's, getting that establishment of the site.
For sure, for sure. And it's exponential, right? Like the
Mhm.
more traffic you get, as long as you continue building it out, the more traffic you'll continue to get and it feeds off
Oh,
itself.
yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
definitely seeing those results. So you
Mhm.
mentioned when you started with us, you really kind of wanted to get your arms around things and quote unquote build the site out on your own before you got your agents in there. Tell me a little bit more about that because changing CRMs, and I've been in the business a long time, and I've changed CRMs. It's a nightmare. Like it's a
Mhm.
big decision. I don't let our clients take that decision lightly. Like we understand what a big decision and how much work is involved in that. Maybe we could talk a little bit about what you went through in your decision process, and even after getting Sierra, like how was that transition, and maybe what would you do different?
Um, a couple of things I would have done different. We decided to import our leads ourselves, even though at that time, you all were offering assistant with that. Blue
Mhm.
Door Travis was offering assistant with it. We're like, no, we've got this on our own, and it was very simple to do. But however, we still didn't. One term from CINC to one term from Sierra are a little bit different.
Yeah.
And our first import, we brought everyone in as a buyer and seller instead of a buyer or a seller. And it was really easy to fix it and get rid.
hmm
And so, but it took a moment going, okay, I broke the system. We did everything wrong. And everybody was like, no, we could completely correct this really. And it is, once you learn it, it is really easier. So I would definitely would have hired someone to have brought in the leads
Yeah. I
for
mean, that's a
us.
lot of leads. 50,000
It
is a big
is.
deal. So yeah,
It's
yeah.
it is. So Blue Door again, Travis assisted us with getting them set up on e-alerts and all of that. I would have never figured any of that
Right.
out. So
Yep.
it was a lot of going things I hadn't thought about yet. And again, we were using a lot of terms that I didn't even understand yet.
Yeah.
And that is where I am very glad I know what I know at this point. But I would tell anyone who is converting something like this that just go ahead, work with you all to build out the site. And you guys have helped a couple of things. Like I wanted a certain reviews widget, and I wanted this and that, and there's a department for that helped me
hmm
out with that.
Great.
So I was really grateful for that part. But having those resources just to make it a little bit more smoother, I should have done it. I should have just taken that on my own.
That's all right. Lesson learned, but that's really
Yep.
good advice too. And again, it sort of just depends on the size of your business. If you got a couple of thousand leads, you can
Right.
probably do it on your own. But once you start getting into that type of scale, I probably would have told you to use somebody as well.
And you guys did. You totally told us to, but we were hard headed. But
That's
live
funny.
and learn.
That's great. That's great. So, so your site is starting to generate organic traffic. It sounds like. It sounds like we're helping you really kind of light up some of your dormant leads and things, and you're
Yeah.
starting to see success with that. Have you taken advantage of, or how have you taken advantage of some of our SEO capabilities? And what is your plan there?
So, and I think this might be answering your question. So it's actually, I'm going to backtrack because I'm going
Sure.
to answer something you haven't asked. One of the things I think I was concerned with when we came over, and I asked in our interviewing process, trying to determine if we were going to go over to Sierra Interactive.
Hmm.
So I asked, CINC does conferences for us, and we would go to them, and our agents would go, and things like that. And I was told, it's not something that you all do here. However, I was on the phone the other day with our original marketing person, and I was telling him, here's how you're going to answer this moving forward to a sync person. That how they train there, it is very much about cold calling, getting the lead, speed to lead, and that type of that. That's all those conferences are about. However, here at Sierra, you're constantly offering. We just got off a call, right, with Jason Pantana,
Yep.
learning about
Yeah.
SEO, AI. I mean, the Zooms you've been offering have been incredible, not to just my Sierra Interactive business, but my whole business in different capacities. And so one of the Zoom that you offered was with Visible Agent.
Yep.
Um, and so I have signed on. I have been using them for the last two
Great.
months in the
Great.
process and all of that. So I have learned so much with SEO growth, not just because of what we're doing with Sierra Interactive, the classes that are offered through the Zooms, I have been able to take it back and implement and go, like I said, schema, didn't know that word before. All of these different things that I can implement. It doesn't make me feel like I'm not a technical person, but it makes me feel like I have more input into my site other than I paid for it and I turned it on. Now I can
Hmm.
go edit and change things. So now as we blog daily, sometimes a couple of
Okay.
times a day. Never
Okay.
blogged before. Very grateful for ChatGPT because we would not be blogging that often without that.
Right.
But I can see when I use things like our Google Search Console, what are people searching for? And our blogs are showing up and they're impressionable. So these are things we never cared or worried about before. It was just, okay, this pay-per-click lead is coming in. And our eventual goal is not to do pay-per-click. Our
Hmm.
eventual goal is to many other users of Sierra Interactive gets away from it. And that's what we want. And that's what we want for our agents as well. So we're already seeing that impression of where it's not just a listing that is being searched on our site. It is a lot of different things from our blogs to our data from each city and things like that. So
Okay.
got a long ways to go to some of these other Sierra
Sure.
Interactive people you've had on Zoom, but we're definitely seeing the impressions.
That's great. That's great. And I'd love to hear that what we're doing is helping the community. I mean, that's why we do it. So I wish more
Mhm.
people like yourself would tap into those. I mean, we do have a lot of people to tap in, which is great. But I'm so glad that that's helping you guys out. And it's a great point. Like the technology is constantly changing. Real estate is sort of the same, but it's still changing. You've got to keep ahead of the curve. So we
Yeah.
try to put out that content that's gonna help you guys do that. So
Mhm.
I'm glad to hear that's working. So you were with Sync for a long time. You decided, you know what, maybe it's time to change. What were some of the questions going through your head and some of the concerns you had either before or after your first time taking a look at Sierra, that some other leaders in your position or customers in your position may have the same types of questions?
So one of the ones were would we own our own domain? That was not how it was with Sync. We did not own our domain
Right.
name, and here we do. And so that was, really an exciting thing because I didn't know what other comparable CRMs, did.
Yep.
We talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people were, you should do follow up boss in this, and you should do this and this. And I didn't want that as a broker owner. I wanted one system. I didn't want
Okay.
two systems paired together. So that knocked out a lot of the CRMs we were looking for. Now, being part of a franchise, we are a Moxie product as well. So I already have a Moxie website, a Moxie CRM, and
Okay.
all that. And I already knew all the holes that were with that. That's not really what we were intending for. So we are a brokerage that has two. So I have to train agents on two CRMs,
Right.
but our primary is we just turn that system on. We train them on our Sierra Interactive. Um, the other thing, again, for me being a broker owner, it mattered so much about agent visibility in sites. I've already talked about that once.
Yeah,
I needed more than that little icon, so that I really wanted to see the different templates of how our agents are going to be showing up, how they're going to be, because if they don't feel like their page is out there and their information is out there, they're not going to use it. Even though,
right.
yes, it does build the SEO of my main site with their subdomain. I do understand that. But a lot of agents just never will get their own site. They will only use what the brokerage is offering, even though we do recommend that they do get their own site and they do
Hmm.
build all that out. But it's just the support on that end, and that them getting that look. So that's
Hmm.
what, so our main things were, would we own our own domain? How did that look? Our other thing that was important was dialer. How did that work? How was that financially? Because that was a big cost for us before.
Okay.
Which this was that was it's a lot cheaper here for the dialer, so that was
Okay.
great. Impressionable, and the connection of the email. So I didn't even know that existed, like a follow up boss, because that was not how our old system worked. And so that is why we do agent in person training for our Sierra 101, because I need to make sure they set up, connect their
Right.
email.
Perfect.
Um, and their branding is so on point. When it goes out, that's why that was important to us as well. But I didn't know that was important at the time, but it is now, to know that email integration, and that's all tracked into the CRM.
Yeah, for sure. And you definitely want that. So to your point, they can email out of their Gmail inbox, but it's going to be in that lead in Sierra.
Yep.
So super critical. Yeah. And those are
We
some
didn't know that before.
foundational pieces. Yeah. And it's great to know because I take that for granted, right? But I have different visibility than you do. So it's
Mhm.
super interesting to hear what your concerns were, and that we were able to meet them. So that's great. That's great.
Oh yeah.
Well, this has been great. I mean, I could go on for a long time, but you're so generous with your time. Really appreciate you being a client, and we love the success that you're having. And we're here to support you as we move forward. If anybody has any questions or would like to learn any more about Sierra, go ahead and visit our website, click on schedule a demo, and we'd love to show you about how Sierra can help change your business, just like we helped Aimee. Thanks so much. Have a great day.